I'm just gonna go to the go. And my awesome. How do you want to toss this?
All right, everyone, we had with Mark, Jason, with yourself.
Thanks, Sam. Mark, thanks for speaking with us. I know this one's probably pretty difficult to get into. I guess I'll cut to where things started to go wrong in the second half. It just seemed like the game got away from you after Ratcliffe's goal, the opener. What did you see playing out there?
Yeah, it was a shame that we didn't get to just make the subs, 3 subs, and felt like that energy was going to be able to give us the lift. They scored, seconds before that. I thought for the first 60 minutes, it was a very difficult game. It was always going to be difficult, but we were there and we had chances in the first half. We managed to limit them to real goal scoring opportunities. And 60 to 72 was really tough and really hard. And yeah, why? Because I think the collective and we're a bit more isolated and a bit more individual. And yeah, it's tough and painful to see. And of course, on the sideline, I just there want to help the group and stop bleeding. First 60, that's acceptable away from home after a break, and that's us. And we had chances, and we managed to keep the game close to no big chances, and then it blew open, and it just became very tough and felt of course for everyone at that point, and especially with a lot of young players, it's tough to go through this. I think you go through it once or twice in your career, and it's not a great time when we've just got a lot of young players. I don't want anyone to feel it, especially young ones, and yeah, experience that we don't want to have taste again. But at the same time, I've been in performances like this over the 10 years, and yeah, we've got to take the most important one thing from it, and we've got to move on quick. We've got a fast turnaround to Friday. This can't take any more time and energy, because it's just not good enough after 60 minutes. And why? And pick that one thing and make sure we're better next week.
But you mentioned having kind of dealt with games like this in the past, where just scoreline aside, just the fact that the performance drops kind of across the board the way it did. What have you found works in a scenario like that? How do you, like you said, it's a short turnaround. How do you sort of box this game up and not let it bleed into future games?
Yeah, but that starts way before we touch the pitch in pre-season. It's the type of people and type of character that you have in the group, because humans are humans. When you have a very bad performance and result, then of course people can start to pull away, and it's very key that we not only stay together but we pull tight. But that work is on who we have here in this team, in this club, and we've got great character and great people. And of course, making sure that they understand the one area that made life more difficult in the part where Carolina took off. Let's fix that. Let's get back to making sure we play to our quality and put our players in their best quality. Let's pull together and make sure we're not pulling away from each other is the short answer.
Thanks, Mark. I'll pass the mic here.
Andre Payton. All right. Thank you very much, Mark. We will have Ashley Hatch and Dorian Bailey. Oh, Jason, one more.
Yep.
Sure. One more if you can, Mark.
Yeah.
Just wanted to sort of look at the sort of the recent games. Defending was a strong suit for this team, results oriented at least. The goal totals allowed were pretty low, and now I think it's 6 in a row with more than one. I'm sure that's been on your mind coming into the break. Were you seeing some commonalities today from those games, or was this more of just a mentality issue that was kind of a one-off? Hopefully for you, a one-off.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of context to the question. I think about more recently, Kansas first minute goal, 30 seconds, and a penalty that wasn't a penalty. Portland, right? We've never seen what happened on that night. Well, we were seeing at the World Cup now, but what happened on that night. I think that game, one person decided to take over. If I look at those, that's just uncharacteristic, and I think you've got to give some context there. Orlando was a really, that's probably the one that you got to look into and say what happened, because we had a really bad start to the game and we weren't ourselves in that game. That's the game probably that I look at your question and say why and how. And I thought we put that right when we went to San Diego. And yeah, look at San Diego game and those 2 goals. It's stats and data are very important, and I think that you've got to use them always with context. I think in a couple of these games, we really have made mistakes that deserve conceding goals. And in some games, I find myself looking at the context and realizing that I can't think too much about those areas. Comes back to your first question. What do you take from this game? How do you improve this game? Zooming in on the most important that has the biggest impact going into next week is the short-term focus. And conceding goals. Yeah, we did a lot of good things as a whole team when we were very good at not giving up chances or giving up goals. Making sure that we keep working at doing that will be important for our team.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, Peyton.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my Wi-Fi is not great right now. Quick question unrelated to the scoreline. With Lorena getting the yellow card, will be suspended for the next Challenge Cup match. I was just wondering, seeing as she's been such a key piece of your midfield, if that's something that you guys have been planning for the possibility for going into next week.
Yeah, I think just losing anyone at this point is a tough one. It's losing any player or not being available. Right, we 7 players tied quantity, the highest quantity in the league. So I would love not to lose anyone. Unfortunately, we have that to manage, and yeah, we will absolutely do our best at managing that. Andre?
Yeah, sorry, I've got some unstable internet too, so hopefully you can hear me. Just wanted to ask about, how you like some of the techniques you'll use with a young team to get them to put this behind them. Like you said, it is a quick turnaround, but this obviously I'm sure they feel pretty bad about it during this period with the international players away. So what kind of techniques, what will you use? How will you kind of try to force them to get over it, not get over it, but put it beside and get ready for the game on Friday?
Yeah, I kind of look at this. If you concede a goal where someone shoots from 28 yards and it's a perfect strike, and then you got 2 choices. Do you look at how you stop that ball magically when it's flying towards the goal, or do you actually make sure that person doesn't get on the ball in that space to shoot? And I look at this game. What I'm trying to say is, how did we get into a position where the game spiraled out of our control? How did we get there? And I think that first goal, I agree, I think Jason said, it felt like that blew it open, and the momentum of Carolina. I think the first 2 goals for me, how did we concede those 2? Because we weren't doing the things that happened in those 2 moments in the hour 60, 62 minutes. What happened there? So then once we get into a really hard position, of course we have work to do there, but I prefer not to get there. Stop it at source. How did this happen? Up until the 60th minute, I think the difference between 2 teams was just inside the 18-yard box. They had a bit more control. We were a bit more dangerous creating chances, and then it spiraled. So how do we not concede those first 2 goals? And also, we absolutely need to manage when it does blow open. How are we going to make space compact and tight and not give up more chances to where it gets out of control? Start with the thing that got us into a tough position, make sure that doesn't happen, and for me it was conceding that first chance, second chance that we shouldn't be conceding.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Dorian Bailey. Jason, go ahead and kick us off.
Thanks, Sam. Dorian, Ashley, thanks for speaking with us. I know it's not very pleasant to speak after a game like this. I was wondering, for both of you, you've seen games like this throughout your playing career, I'm sure, not very often, but that can be, things are going okay and then sort of slip out of control a little bit. I was wondering what each of you thought in terms of what were you feeling out there in terms of the team sort of being in the game and then suddenly not really being in the game and being second best for the last half hour.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not the result that we were looking for. But I think there's going to be a lot of teachable moments, and we're going to go over film and learn from this, and we'll bounce back and be ready for next week.
Yeah, I agree with what Doreen said. Just we didn't have any momentum, and they had a ton of momentum. So we just need to be able to find opportunities to switch that, and we didn't. So we're gonna get better moving forward.
And thinking of the start of the game, it seemed like it was, they had more of the ball. They were making you do a lot of running, but maybe as halftime approached, you started to come into the game a little bit. Second half, the first 5-10 minutes seemed like, if anything, you were the team more likely to break the deadlock. Do you take anything away from those phases of the game that can be applied forward, or is this really these next few days going to be dedicated to just, fixing go so well?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, goals change games, and that we had one opportunity in the first half where I feel like I could have put it away and I didn't. So there's moments like that where I look and I'm like, I need to be better. But yeah, I think individually and as a collective, we can all look at our performance and find areas of improvement. And then, just like I said earlier with the momentum, we need to be able to come together at moments and just switch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game, and we all have to do better collectively. But I think it also goes to show you like how quickly the ties can turn in a game, because we were even for a little bit there, and then one goal can change a game.
Thanks, you both. I'll pass the mic here.
Andre, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for speaking with us. We were talking to Mark, and he mentioned that the goal is to kind of get this one out of the mind because you have a quick turnaround with the game on Friday. So both of you as leaders on the team and trying to help younger players who kind of suffer that along with you, how do you personally go through kind of putting something like this behind you, and how do you help the younger ones do the same?
I think it starts by going over, like, we're gonna, learn from a lot of the mistakes that were made, and like we're gonna grow from that, and then we're gonna work on these things the next week in practice, and we'll be ready for our next game.
Yeah, I don't think this game defines us by any means. We know we're a lot better. We've proven that throughout the year. So yeah, I think we just need to get better and move on.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ashley and Dorian. We will see you all back home next week.
Thanks, guys. Safe trip back.
Appreciate it. Thank you.